I hate this job. I hate this job.
Don't even have to come into the office. I can do this job from home.
I need this place like I need a shotgun blast to the face.
Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you, I'm out.
Who's coming with me?
Hey everybody, welcome back to My Stupid Job podcast. I'm Aaron Jarbo. My guest today is Robby Valls. Robby, thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Happy St. Patrick's Day as well.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Want to timestamp this because it's getting crazy out there. That we are. It is St. Patrick's Day today. None of the bars or restaurants are opening. Cheers! We got some. We got some JMO on the podcast today.
Aaron's got us covered, and I appreciate it.
No bars or restaurants are open. No comedy clubs are open. So as comedians, kind of this is all we got. We're keeping our distance. We're about 5 feet away. Our faces are about 5 feet away from each other. We didn't touch when he got here, and there was no handshaking.
Yeah. Washed my hands when I got here.
We're safe. We're safe here, and so this is in Los Angeles. It could be different tomorrow. It could be different in a different city. It could be different by state. But right now, we are encouraged to stay at home as much as possible, wash our hands a bunch. We're not on full lockdown yet, but again, that probably could change in the next 24 hours. Or probably by the time this video comes out. So I'm usually like putting them out like 2 or 3 days later. So
Well, right now, like all restaurants and bars are closed. I think the only things that are open right now are grocery stores and drive-thrus.
yeah. Well, the restaurants can be open, but it's only their takeout,
Right.
And like Uber Eats and Postmates, I think, are still going strong. We stocked up, so we haven't ordered anything yet. But at the rate that I'm eating the things that I bought to last me like 2 weeks, I'll probably by Friday,
Right.
I'll probably be, I don't know, and I don't know, it's stupid. You get sick of stuff, but we're trying to preserve. We're eating all the fresh stuff this week, and then the freezer stuff next week. But restaurants and bars are closed, and you're currently you're working as a bartender. Correct. So
yes.
How's that affected you?
Oh man, it has sucked so much. I work at a bar. I work at a restaurant bar right across from the Staples Center. So we had to really notice. We make the majority.
Kobe.
Yeah, no, that was nuts too.
That was probably a nuts weekend for you.
It was, yeah. And then but we had already noticed a decline in business leading into this month because that's like when everybody was finding out about it. So
Yeah.
like we make the majority of our business off of NBA games and NHL games and concerts and conventions.
Yeah, just like it's a catch-all. If anyone who's down there for like an event, you need to get food either before or you want to get food or drinks afterwards. And there's a ton of restaurants down there that grab all this. Well, how many people does the Staples Center hold? 18,000. 16,000. I don't know.
I don't know the number, but it's a lot.
It's a lot, and you guys all kind of divvy up those customers equally and serve them the booze.
That's right.
And so they shut you guys down. When was it? 2 days ago? Well, Mayor Garcetti got on, and I think was it Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
I forgot to start a timer, but got on Saturday or Sunday and said the restaurants and bars would be closing. I think it was midnight on Sunday.
Yeah, that's when I got the email from work saying we're not going to be open anymore. But we had already when I think the first shit hit the fan on Thursday, and that's when all my shifts for the weekend got cut. So on Thursday I went from having 3 shifts on the weekend to having only 1. And then I worked that shift, and it was a ghost town. That was Saturday night.
So they were losing business by staying open, or losing money probably by staying open. So they just got to the point where they were like, "Let's just shut this down." And that makes sense. I see a lot of people doing that. Sorry, I forgot to start the timer.
Damn it, Aaron.
We're gonna keep. No, not have to do anything, but we're gonna keep this to entertainment level length. Some podcasts, I'm not Joe Rogan, I can't talk for 3 hours about COVID-19. I don't know that much about it.
Yeah.
For me as an idiot, a non-scientist idiot, being told to just stay inside and watch Netflix was like, yeah, I can do that. Oh my god, that's I was gonna do that.
I know, yeah.
I was gonna do that anyways. And it's weird the number of people who aren't doing that, or like they would have done that anyways, and then now they're like, no, I got to go outside. This is my right to do so. I'm going to go to bars. I'm going to drink. I'm going to be out because I'm young and healthy and I can't catch this shit. And it's just like, hey, read one thing. Read even one thing and see what that's like.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing in your downtime?
Oh my God. Getting high and playing video games, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that should be what most people are doing.
Yeah.
And the people who weren't doing that before, there's a huge chunk of people who were already doing that before, but now
I know I'm not proud of it.
And it's okay.
Thank you.
I'm not, and I had to. We've already watched a bunch of shows. My wife and I kind of being holed up here together, and we were actually just talking about this right before. Like maybe take this time to learn a new skill.
That's what I'm
maybe
kind
learn a new program, like a new piece of software that I'm not familiar with. After Effects. I want to get better at it. But like you could learn guitar. You could learn. Right now we're putting together a 75 million piece puzzle back there on that table.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all you can do. There's a lot of blue. It's like turtles in the water in Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
But that's we could either waste this time smoking weed and playing video games, which most people are going to do, and why not? And then, or you could take a couple hours out of your day each day to learn a new thing,
something.
Or cook a meal you've never cooked before with all that food that you hoarded.
Yeah.
Did you do any hoarding?
I got really lucky, but then also kind of shot myself in the foot in it. So I went to Costco before things got real, and I had stocked up. I did my normal, buying chicken, pasta, and all that. So I'm okay for now. But if I had known it was going to be like this, I would have definitely stocked up on some other things or grabbed some.
Yeah. Well, but if everybody, Garcetti got on, he's going to do this, I think, nightly now. The mayor of Los Angeles got on and said, hey, stop buying groceries for the month. Buy them for the week.
Right.
Like, if everybody just buys what you need at this time, we'll all always be able to go to the store and get the things that we need instead of, like, if you go to the store and you normally buy one thing of peanut butter, don't buy 4 now, because you just made 3 people not be able to have peanut butter
exactly
this week.
But no one's gonna listen to that.
They're not, because they're everybody. It's the everybody for themselves mentality, which is absolute garbage right now. Yeah. I have in my house right now. This is what I wanted to talk about. I have 2 rolls of toilet paper. One is on the spindle right now, and the other one it'll be the next and last one that we have to get through all of this. Oof. And I thought it would be funny if this whole thing blew over before I ran out of toilet paper, and I was like, "See, you idiots!" I bought we go to the grocery store like once a week because we don't buy a lot of stuff. We just buy like fresh produce, and so usually when I'm there, I just grab like a 4-pack of toilet paper or a 6-pack, like never more than that because I just don't have the space to house 75 rolls of toilet paper.
Right.
Same with paper towels. Like I buy them 2 rolls at a time, and I had just gotten them like the week before this all went crazy, and I still had like three and a half left, and now I'm down to 2, and we'll see.
I have always shopped at Costco for groceries ever since I moved out here.
I think I would if I had more storage, like if I had a garage or something to keep all the extra paper towel rolls in or something, but I don't. So it's just like it doesn't fit my lifestyle right now. But all my sibling in-laws do, and they have bigger places to store it, and it makes sense for money wise. But
that's what it is.
But right now, people are, if you have like those huge pallets of toilet paper in your garage, you kind of look like an asshole because there are people who don't have any. Right. And so I don't know, I'm not all about like publicly shaming anybody, but maybe go hand out some toilet paper to people that don't have as much as you. Yeah. It's weird that was the thing that people...
I think there's people selling it on eBay right now and Craigslist and all that stuff. They're like...
Well, Amazon shut down anyone who had if you have an Amazon store as a seller, they shut down a lot of people who were trying to buy up all the Purell and toilet paper and then resell it for a lot more.
Good.
And I did and so there's a couple people who kind of got shut down undeservingly maybe. I read the story about these 2 brothers who bought up a bunch of hand sanitizer in rural areas that didn't have a lot of people, and then brought it back, and they were just their thing was to distribute it to people who couldn't get it if they lived in a bigger city like we do, and people are going to our only grocery store in our neighborhood and buying up all the shit. They're like, well, we'll send it to you. And they were selling 2 big, large pump size things of Purell for $20. And they only paid $1 for them, but it cost. It was like, if you read the whole story, they're not actual bad guys. It seemed like they were doing a service. And if you can't get any hand sanitizer, $20 isn't that much to have 2 big pump size things. And he was like, and for the record, Amazon takes a fee, and they charge us $13 to ship it. So I'm really only making $2 off of each order for providing this service, going to all these places where there aren't any humans really, and then redistributing their hand sanitizer to larger. More densely populated places. I don't know.
Sounds like a cover up. I don't know.
It could.
I
mean,
don't know.
but there's like for every article that makes them look, and you probably saw it, that makes them look like
good
guys.
do-gooders?
There's 25 other articles that make them look like assholes who hoarded hand sanitizer and are trying to just make a profit off of being the first to snatch it all up, which that is crappy.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. I mean, that sounds...
I'd like to see, when this is all over, since I tend to steer towards work-related messaging, I'd like for a job interview question to be like, hey, just to judge your character just for fun. You know, like 3 weeks ago, like 3 or 4 weeks ago in March when everything started going like nuts, how many, just wanted to know, how many rolls of toilet paper did you buy?
No.
And just to judge that person, just to see.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Or how many do you, and how many do you have left? You bought 7,000 and you still have 6,995. So you could have been fine with 5 rolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the amount of fight videos that I've seen already just over these products, it's ridiculous. It's like Black Friday all over again.
Yeah, but they're not fighting over Tickle Me Elmo or whatever the hot new toy is this year. They're fighting over doo-doo paper. So nuts.
Well, I think the big question right now is how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
I think that's what people are unsure about and everyone's speculating.
Yeah, and I don't know, and none of us will know. I'm in for the ride. I'm cool to just hunker down and watch some TV for a little bit, learn some stuff, read some books that I haven't had time to read. But I was the thing that's I feel shitty even having to like weigh in on this because I already worked from home. Like I was a freelancer and I'm making less money now. Like not as much stuff is coming through, obviously. But like this was my norm, like sitting at home and working from my computer. So the people that are getting to do that for the first time, like as of effective like yesterday, like a lot of companies were letting their people work from home. I don't know how long they're going to be able to do it or what they want to do or how, if their companies allow things like this. But for someone like you, who's a bartender, like now you have one customer, it's yourself.
Yeah.
You just pour.
I'm freaking out. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I'm okay right now. I've already like made peace with what's going on.
Yeah.
But when I found out on Sunday, cause I'm going to be okay for the rest of the month. But if this lasts for more than a month, I am very screwed. Yeah. Cause I don't have a lot of money saved up being a comedian and an artist and living in Los Angeles.
And it's like what else could you do? What's your plan B? Do you have a plan B?
I signed up for Instacart.
Which one's that?
That's the one where you can deliver groceries to people.
Oh.
And I've heard from some people that you can do well on that. So I'm just waiting for the card to come in so I can start doing that. Yeah,
and I think that like we don't even do well. Like I think if you can just get some cash. Like I think people are like looking at it like what can I do to get rich right now? This is not the time to be getting rich. It's like how can I just pay my bills, stay in LA, let this thing blow over, maybe help some other people out in the time. That sounds like the perfect gig. Or like working for Amazon. I read a thing the other day that Amazon's like looking to hire like 100,000 new delivery people to get all their stuff out, and that's solving 2 problems. People who can't leave their house get toilet paper and shit, and people who need some work get a couple extra bucks. They can pick up some shifts.
I heard Costco's hiring too. Like they need.
I mean the grocery store. I don't know if they've brought on a bunch of new people, but they have switched their hours. So maybe I go to Ralph's and they're open 24 hours a day, and they've switched it to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I don't know if they needed more people or how it was going. But the last 2 or 3 times I've gone in there, it's been a madhouse. And every single normally let's say they have 24 lines, maybe 8 of them would be in operation. Now all 24 of them are like going through.
Yeah, I got really lucky because I had run out of eggs over the weekend, and I went to like one of these small little like hole in the wall markets that just carry a small amount of everything, and they were fully stocked on toilet paper, rubbing alcohol, eggs and milk and all that.
I had that thought yesterday. My wife and I were driving around and we got the last little bit of things that we needed, but we still could probably use some more toilet paper because we only have the 2 rolls. This is becoming non-selfishly, and we're just like, hey, we want to play by the rules and not leave our house, but we might need 2 or 3 more rolls of toilet paper.
I'm not even kidding.
I don't want to get a bunch. I just want I'd be good with 2 more.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. I have a 4-pack in my car. I'll give you 2 if you really want.
No, it's not that bad. You
well, we got to be there for each other in these times.
I like that you're keeping it in your car.
Yeah. I bought it.
We just had our baby shower. We're gonna have a kid here in a couple weeks, and at our baby shower, people bring you a bunch of diapers and baby wipes. And so in dire need, I can break into the baby wipes and just use those if I need to.
And then you got the diapers.
And I got the diapers. If I don't, I can just wipe my butt with a diaper.
With a diaper.
But he's good. He's good on diapers for a while, the kid. So it won't be that big a deal.
Okay.
So what were you doing before you were a bartender? What was your well, how long have you been in LA?
I've been in LA for 8 years.
Okay.
My main source of income, aside from some lucrative jobs here and there, was always bartending. I've been doing it since I was 19.
Okay.
And it got me through college, and it's allowed me to survive out here.
You could bartend at 19
in Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, in Miami. I think
that
New
Will
York,
Smith song wasn't fucking around, were they?
No.
That's the place to be.
I mean, it's Miami, man. Let me tell you, it's ridiculous how much money you can make as a bartender in Miami.
Is it like Vegas or better?
I've never worked in Vegas, but I would say
the
it's the same or
bartending scene
better.
in Vegas, you see, it's a little bit different. There's more. First of all, drinks cost 20 times more than they should. Some people do the flair, bartending, the juggling.
I got into a little bit of flair.
Yeah,
I did. I really enjoyed it, man.
Can you juggle?
No, I can't juggle, but I can like throw the bottle, catch it, throw it behind myself, catch it.
That's pretty cool.
The thing with that is that when you're really busy, that's stupid to do because people are just like, all right,
come on,
make my drink. I don't care about these.
I'm watching you perform. This isn't the Magic Castle, asshole. I'm just trying to forget about my work day.
Exactly.
This is happy hour. That's so funny. So you moved to LA and continued bartending, but noticed like a big dive in the amount of tips you were making.
Absolutely,
just because
yeah.
of the city.
Just because, the way the city is structured.
But you said you were bartending at 18 in Miami.
19.
And what's the rule with that?
18 and up to serve.
To serve.
Yeah, I think Florida and New York are the only two states that allow that.
That's crazy. I thought it was like, I think I grew up in Kentucky, and I remember people there to work at you could be a server if the place didn't serve alcohol, but if they did, you had to be like 20 in a day. Some rule about 20. I always remember 20 in a day sticking in my head. I have no idea why it wasn't just like, hey, you got to be 21 to serve 21-year-old. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, the place I bartended at in Miami, it was like a very lucrative, like Spanish nightclub where, like, they were marrying bottles in the back and doing that kind of thing
and marrying them with water.
No, absolutely. We did open bar from from
the term
10 to 11.
Marrying bottles just means like if I have another exact bottle of this and it has this much left in it and this one has, I'm going to pour it in there so I can just throw one of the bottles away. But I'm talking about like what you would do in high school if you drink some of your dad's liquor, you fill the bottle up to where it was with water, so you didn't notice the difference.
Did that.
Yeah.
Or just filling they filled like all their Grey Goose bottles and all their like premium vodka, rum, and all that bottles with like shitty vodka and shit.
Yeah. And what's the closing time for bars there? Is it like 2? Is it 4 or 2?
The closing time is when the party dies down.
So there's no.
So
that's like Vegas as well.
Yeah.
I had a buddy who was a bartender in New York, and he was talking about that. How like after the 2 a.m. spot, people are so hammered anyways, they don't even know what you're pouring them. They're like 4 Grey Goose martinis, and you're like, okay, and you're over there pouring them with Absolute because like the guy doesn't know, and you just saved yourself a ton of money on.
One thing I would do, I worked at a college night. We had a college night, and that's one of the nights I worked, and a bunch of like people that I knew from college would come out, and they always wanted to get hooked up. So what I would do is, I don't know if you know a Long Island, there's like 5 different spirits in a Long Island.
Yeah, a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would use the amount of alcohol that one would make in a Long Island and then just add more juice and add other crap to it.
Coke, right?
Yeah.
Coke makes it.
But instead of doing like sweet and sour and Coke, I would do like cranberry, orange juice, pineapple juice.
Yeah.
And make like 8 shots out of it. And then hook up my friends and then just charge them 1 Long Island. If you're like, oh my God, Robby, you're the best. Oh my God.
Well, Rob, Long Islands used to be like a drink that I started drinking when I was like first starting out with drinking.
Exactly.
Because if you're young, you're poor, so and you don't have a lot of money to last all night. So you just get the one Long Island right when you walked into the bar, and that was like enough to get you drunk, and you stayed good drunk for the remainder of the evening off that one drink.
Yeah,
it's very economical in these trying times to order a Long Island as your first drink in the evening.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, now as an adult, working at the place I work now, it's a little bit more upscale and all that. when somebody orders a Long Island as an adult, you already know what's
Yeah.
up. Like they're just trying to get fucked
My
up.
buddy who's a bartender, he's like, anytime a group of girls comes in and they order like lemon drops, I just like roll
Oh,
my eyes,
yeah.
like, oh my god. He's like, it's not that they're hard to make, they're annoying. It's just like I just know that I just now I'm serving a group of idiots, and they're going to be annoying in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, no.
As soon as they drink this first round, they're going to be the worst people. He's like, that's like they're calling. They just might like put a card on the bar that says, "I'm a moron. This is me. Here's my card. What do you do? You're the bartender. Okay, we're about to suck."
No, absolutely.
So Long Island is or there's probably a million drinks like that.
Oh,
that just,
like that, yeah. Adios out here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Adios or like a Blue Long Island or
Any what's the thing that I hate, or my wife hates? Oh, with Jaeger.
Jaeger bombs.
If you order a Jaeger bomb,
those aren't as common now as they used to be.
yeah, they were. I don't know why this table's wobbling, but because one leg is up on the carpet. Anyways, that's for no one to need to know. But yeah, that's got to be annoying. Do you deal with a lot of shitbag customers down there?
Man, at the place I work at, it evens out.
That's your only the bad thing about being a bartender is just the customers, right?
Yeah. You just get to, like, one of the worst things someone asks is like, "What's good?"
What do you like?
What do you like?
Well, I'm a bartender, so I drink whiskey out of the glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want that?
I drink Fernet. That's what I like to drink.
Oh, really?
Fernet is kind of like a bartender's shot.
Yeah. Well, because it also helps with hangovers, right?
It does, and
Yeah.
it's good for your digestion. Apparently.
It's
So,
well, what's your response to that question usually?
what do you like? You know, what's your?
Let's start with a spirit.
Exactly. What's your spirit of choice? And they'll be like tequila, and I'll be like, all right, well, we have this and that, and you know.
How do you like it? Just cold? Because that's how I drink it.
Yeah.
Just pour it in a glass, chilled, and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, the best piece of advice I could give anybody walking into a busy bar is just know what you want before you talk to the bartender.
I learned that pretty early on. As I read like it in some kind of like handbook, like a gentleman's thing. It was like rules for like parties and rules for like going to bars or whatever. It was like, don't make eye contact with a bartender ever until you know what you want.
Absolutely.
Because they're gonna come ask you, and if you're like, blah, 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 blah,
you're wasting their time. Yeah, and they have other people they need to help.
Yeah. And it seems like it should be common sense, but I've never been a bartender, but you watch people do it, and it's so incredibly frustrating, especially if you haven't been waited on yet, and you're waiting for that person to mumble through their long line of and why is that person always like the representative of the group? Why did somebody who came there with like 6 people send that person up to the bar to order drinks for the whole table? Just know what you want.
Yeah.
It should be so much easier than that.
I think Daniel Tosh said this, and other comedians have said this. Everybody should, because going to restaurants is such a big part of our society, everyone should work in a restaurant at least once in their life.
Yeah, so
just
that you know that your ranch dressing isn't that fucking important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just that. It's just
when I moved to LA, I bought that album. That CDs were still a thing, and in my drive from Kentucky to Los Angeles, I listened to that Daniel Tosh album probably 300 times. But yeah, he does talk about that.
He does, yeah. It's not just, like another thing that just makes you die inside as working in hospitality is when somebody wants the check split like more than 3 ways or more than 2 ways, honestly.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing that I ever had to deal with until I moved to Los Angeles. Like they would give you, no one does that in where I'm from. It's like you get a ticket for the seat that you're sitting in. There's like seats. So like if there were 6 of us at the dinner, it's 6 different checks, and they know what each seat ordered. And that seemed like it would be an easy thing to do. And then I got out here and they were just like drop 1 check off. And if you're out with a friend who's doing pretty well, sometimes they pick that up. So, or sometimes like maybe you got it last time, so I'm gonna get it this time.
I think that's the best
easier.
rule.
And then also the thing that's helped out tremendously is Venmo. So it's like, hey, I got this credit card. I get all these points, these travel points. So I'll put it down and be like, everybody just Venmo me. I want to get the points.
Yeah.
That's the move right now.
I love it. That's awesome.
That's and that helps you guys out as well. Did you serve as well, or just always?
I have served. Yeah.
Never served.
Yeah. Have you bartended?
No, I'd like to. I feel like I would like to have. Maybe I missed that window in my life, but right now is not a good time to start bartending because the bartenders can't even bartend. Yeah. So no, I'm experienced enough in pouring myself drinks and like. Have you heard of that company? It's like a box thing called Shaker and Spoon.
No, I don't think I have.
So it's like a Birchbox, where you get a monthly cocktail, and it gives you everything to make 4 different drinks, like all the everything but the liquor.
What?
So let's say,
everything but the liquor.
So let's say like this month's
It's old fashions.
yes. Well, let's say this month's box is whiskey. So it's
Okay.
3 whiskey drinks and all the accoutrement to make like really craft, cool looking cocktails and all you have to do go to the store and buy 1 bottle of whiskey. And so that makes 12 drinks. It'll make 12 drinks roughly. So yeah, or it's 4 drinks, 3 different drinks, and each recipe makes 4 glasses. So you can have like my wife and I can have another couple over and we can each try 3 different like craft cocktails. It's pretty
I love that. No, I
shout
love
out
that.
Shaker and Spoon, who doesn't sponsor this
my
podcast.
I'm gonna look into that because I love that idea.
It's kind of pricey, but it's pretty neat. So anyways, the whole point is that like I know that I've got some bartender ability, and also I've just been I've been drinking for long enough to where I could, if somebody else came to the bar and wanted a cocktail, I could make them one. You know,
What's your favorite cocktail?
I'm a pretty big old fashioned guy. I'm a
Old-fashioned?
Yeah,
Oh,
from
man.
Kentucky, so bourbon is my jam. But I also like I like a Vesper martini from time to time if I'm like if I got a suit on.
James Bond.
Yeah, James Bond. I like my attire can sometimes dictate what I want to drink. If I'm at a nice event, I saw you were at on some red carpet recently wearing like a white tuxedo, looking kind of like James Bond. Yeah. I bet you didn't drink a Long Island iced tea that night. I bet you had a nice dirty martini or an old fashioned or something classy.
I have not drank a Long Island iced tea since I was like in college,
and that's for good reason.
And I probably won't.
Well, you just like a fine wine. You mature in age, and you mature your drink, your palate, and your taste for the things change over time as well. And so the little froofy, sweet drinks that now give you like the biggest headache in the entire world, that's your worst nightmare. I don't even like drinking champagne that much.
Oh, really? I love champagne.
Well, I think there's this huge distinction there between good champagne and bad champagne, and if you wake up the next day and you want to rip your own head off because your head is just throbbing so much you had shitty champagne.
Do you know why champagne is the thing that like people drink at like nice
Celebration?
events? Is celebration that thing?
I don't.
It's the amount of bubbles in champagne allows the effect of the alcohol to hit you faster.
Interesting.
So as you drink champagne, you're able to more accurately gauge how drunk you're getting.
Oh, really?
Versus like drinking hard alcohol or beer or anything like that, or wine.
I felt, well, I mean, there's people who make that argument with beer. They're like, if you go to a bar and you get a bottle of beer, you know how many Bud Lights you can drink before you start to, let's say that number is 8. And then you're at your home, it's water anyways.
Yeah.
You know that you can drink 8 Bud Lights and feel all right. And anything past that, you're like drunk, really, really, really drunk. But versus like a mixed drink, you don't know. Different bartenders pour different things. There's different sizes. So like, let's just say that you think 2 gin and tonics is enough to normally like rock your world, but you go to this one bar and you had 4 because the bartender was making them a little wimpier or whatever. They're harder to measure, but that's interesting that champagne is supposed to help you be able to determine.
Gauge, yeah.
Did not know that. So, what else besides everyone at home knows you're a very funny comedian, but what was right before that? Like, what did you do before you got into comedy? You're always like,
you want to know something? I grew up as a dancer.
Okay, I could see that about you.
That was
but
like
Miami, right? There's a Cuban influence down there.
Yeah.
I know you speak Spanish.
I do. My both parents are Cuban. First one of my family born in the States.
So just you came out the womb just dancing.
Oh man, yeah.
It's not like similar to salsa.
It is salsa, yeah. Salsa merengue.
Okay.
Salsa.
And so that makes sense. I could see you.
I mean, growing up in Miami, the amount of quinceañeras I danced in. Because everybody in Miami is
for
Hispanic.
money or just because you were the hired.
I should have gotten paid. Damn it.
Yeah.
No.
You want to watch me? Pay me.
I went to besides being involved in dance studios, also the public high school I went to was like 90% Latino.
Okay.
From like all places, and most Latino cultures they celebrate quinceañeras. So many friends in high school, like, Robby, you want to be in my quinceañera court?
Oh, I guess I have seen that, and I remember watching on those MTV, like My Stupid Sweet 16. Like those shows, they would have like, because their parents are rich and they were having such a big party, it wasn't everybody wanted to have like a dance number in the middle where they were like the Jennifer Lopez at halftime show,
exactly.
and all their friends were their little backup dancers.
Exactly.
So you were a lot of your friends' backup dancers, but you stole the show, to be honest, most times, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I'd be like, get this girl off. Put me in that white dress.
I don't know. I've never been to it. I've never been to.
Have you been to like a Sweet 16s where they do that kind of thing?
No, short answer, no.
Oh.
I didn't. I grew up in Kentucky, and that wasn't a thing. Everybody was just like, "Hey, we got our driver's license. Let's cruise up and down our one main street," and so everybody can see us driving. That was what anyone did there. Everybody got their permit. You could get your driver's permit at 16, and then 6 months later, you got your license. So at 16 and a half, everyone was tearing up the streets. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
You meet people that grew up in bigger cities like New York and LA, and they didn't start driving until they were like at 20.
Interesting.
Or even there's some people in New York that still don't drive and never have. They never needed to.
Even in LA, my roommate is 31 and he just got his first car.
Wow. Where's he from?
He's from Alabama, but he's been living out here for a couple years.
You should in Alabama. He should have got his driver's license at like 12.
Oh.
Because in smaller towns, like I got my car before I got my license because I knew I was going to start to drive. I think I got my first car when I was 15, and so there was 3 cars in the house. And if I had to go to work or something, my mom would be like, "Just drive yourself." I'm like, "But I don't have my license." She's like, "Oh, who cares? No one cares. No one cares. Just go." And so that turned into like, and I bet a lot of people did. There's people like work on cars like in the South, and they just have extra cars laying around. And so driving around on their property, like big acreage farmlands, that they're just like used to driving the work truck from the barn to the house back, and they just learn how to drive at an early age. And so the Alabama kid not driving until he's 30 doesn't make sense to me, but neither does the coronavirus or a lot of TV shows that got on the air. I don't know how they got on there. There's just so many things that don't make sense to me, and that's okay. It's not important.
Yeah.
Are you binging a bunch of shit right now? What's some? You got any shows that you would recommend?
What was the last show? Man, I love watching food shows.
I do too.
Yeah. So Street Food on Netflix is amazing. They visit like all these Asian countries like Indonesia and the Philippines and Japan.
That's how this thing got started in the first place. I did watch a thing on that because they're the whole market from like the animal being like alive right in front of you to killing it and doing all the stuff to it and then serving it right in that spot was like the dead version of it that you're about to eat and the live version of it are so like a close proximity that that's how the disease is like getting out. Kind of.
Is that what they said?
I don't know. And then also bats are a thing that the people eat
yeah,
over there.
I keep hearing the bats thing.
The bat theory. So I don't know. But
like, there's just so many theories right now, conspiracy theories coming out about
when
this.
you watch those shows and you're not there and you can't see it and you can't smell it, and my thought is that all that looks amazing and I would like to try it.
Absolutely. I will try it. If someone's like, this is good, this is part of our culture, this is what we eat, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Let's go. And then the Chef show with Favreau. Do you like that?
I haven't seen that one. Oh yeah, I saw an episode of that.
The movie is based around Cubanos.
Yeah,
and they go down.
He starts in
Miami and drives back. That should be like one of your favorite movies.
Or maybe I saw it.
They don't do it accurately, and it's your least favorite movie.
No, they do. The Medianoche, then like the lechon that they're making in that movie looks really good.
Is that the bananas?
no, bananas are
the
plátanos.
Yeah,
or tostones or mariquitas.
We got it, Robbie. You can speak Spanish better than everybody.
Oh man, I can talk about that.
I'm like, donde está el baño?
El baño. Yeah. No, but they did do an authentic representation of the food in Miami when they're down there.
LA's like a cool city for stuff like this to happen. But right after that movie came out, they opened up a pop-up shop serving that sandwich at the Grove, and Favreau was there making them, and Roy Choi as well.
That's awesome.
And I think Lake Uzama was there for a couple hours, but it was I went and we got them. They were amazing.
Yeah. You know what's another thing I've been watching that I'm in love with? World War II in color.
Haven't seen that.
So they take all this World War II footage.
My wife would like that. She likes war shows.
Oh my God, it's amazing, dude. I mean, I don't know. I do love history, but they break down everything that happened during like the rise of Hitler and how he first started like.
What service is that? Streaming service is that on?
Netflix. Okay. World War II in color. It's amazing. They tell you they go into detail about what happens in every battle and how the Germans were just like world domination, taking over all of Europe, and then how like how the France and the UK stood up to them, and then France fell and the UK was alone, and then Russia was like, we're gonna help out. It's just fascinating.
I'll have to check that out.
Fascinating. And they show you all this footage and they recolored it so it looks like you can see everything.
The person who did that had a lot of time while they were quarantined to be like, hey, I'd like to make all this old black and white footage color. I got time. Let's
do it.
So back to how you went from becoming a professional quinceañera dancer to a stand-up comedian. Yes. What was the how did that unfold?
Oh my God, it's so funny. So I was always a dancer, And then when I was in college, there was like a talent show happening, and everyone at the school I went to knew I was like involved in dance and all that. I had even done some dance shows at my college, and so they invited me to be on this talent show, and they told me like, yeah, you can dance, and I'm like, actually, I think I want to do stand up, and they were like, what?
Oh, so the opposite of dance?
Yeah, they were like, what? Oh, they were like, Robby, please just dance, just do like a dance number or something, and I was like, no, I want to try stand up, I want to do it. And I did stand up, and surprisingly, it went really well.
It's not surprisingly. Like you had to know that you had a knack for being funny before you would have ever had the thought to get on stage and try that. I have a similar story. Like I waited. I lived in LA for like 11 years before I tried stand up for the first time, but I always wanted to do it, and so I knew I didn't go do it until I knew I had a good act. And so my first time went pretty well as well, and so I was like, it should have.
How was your second time though?
Better. Like
really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I fucked up. I made the cardinal sin with stand up. So my first time went exceptionally well, like applause breaks and everything. So I got really cocky about it.
Where'd you do it?
I did it at the talent show at my college.
Oh, this was back in college, yeah.
Yeah. And it was good. You can actually still look up that set on YouTube. If you YouTube my name, Robby Valls, stand up, you'll see me 19 years old doing stand up at a talent show.
I'm going to have a video of it playing like right here.
Oh, really? Yeah. There it is. Yep. Embarrassing. Look at my hair. But it went really well, and I got really cocky. And then from that gig, I got booked on an actual comedy club in Miami called The Cove.
And you ate shit.
And I was like, all new material. I got what it takes.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna write all new material for this, and I'm gonna kill it. And I bombed so hard. It was really rough. And then I continued to bomb for a really long time.
But I haven't had like a lot of bombs, like open mics maybe, because it's like the crowd is like full of comics, and it's just like they're all on their phones and like nobody cares. But I'm like, whatever. And then you take that same material and you do it at a show, and it kills. But it's just like you have to sit through those like lull nights at mics trying out new material, knowing that they're not getting the response that you want. But you got to start at shows and then do comedy clubs. That bomb, you felt that right here.
Oh yeah. Because like,
did you go home and think I'm done with stand up?
I did. And then they called me and invited me back. And I was like, what?
So then they must have known that you were funny, and that, it could have been the audience. It could have been, I mean, maybe, I don't know. They were just like, this kid's young. That's a learning process. He's never going to do that again.
Yeah.
He's going to take this home and turn it into an
something
experience,
better.
like a learning experience. Yeah.
And I didn't. And I continued to make that mistake. In the beginning, I thought you had to write new jokes every time.
Well, no, because it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, I know.
I had that mistake starting out, because I knew that like in the open mic crowd, I was seeing a lot of the same guys every single night, and just for my own insecurity, whatever you want to call it, was like, this guy's already seen me say this 5 minute act before. I just want to change it up, because I know him and like 12 other dudes that I see pretty much every single night are going to be there, and I feel like I need to change it up for them.
Right.
That's a mistake. What you need to do is get your 5 minutes like really good.
Exactly.
And I didn't learn that until maybe like 6-7 months in, that I was like, I feel like I need to write something new every night I go out. Yeah. And I luckily in the start, I did have like a lot of material saved up that I could do that, and I was really quickly burning through like stuff that worked, and maybe let's try different stuff with this, and then scrapping the stuff that didn't work like right away, and getting all like maybe like an hour's worth of crap down to like 10 good minutes of stuff. And so that is a mistake. You need to I mean, I guess it's worth a worth learning mistake for sure. So how long did you do it in Miami before you moved to LA?
I did it for about a year and a half or so. Mm-hmm. I was also involved like with an improv troupe outside of like stand up. So I was just like dipping my feet into a lot of different comedy routes at that time. And I was also, the dance studio that I was involved with also was part children's theater. Okay. So I did a lot of shows with them. So I mean, like I grew up as a theater kid, dancer, like in the arts and all that.
Because there's such like stand-up comedy is a little bit of a performance, like it can be to a degree, but also you're mostly a writer. You're a writer first and foremost. Like I have a friend who's an actor. He's like, if someone would just write jokes for me, I'd go perform like stand-up comedy. I'm like, that's never gonna happen, because you have to. That's the whole thing is writing jokes in your perspective and stuff. And so like anybody could perform somebody else's material, but this isn't a monologue class. This is you're telling people your truths up there. And but then the better at you get, the more it does start to come off like a performance. Like someone like a Sebastian Maniscalco he's a performer. Like he's very animated on stage. And then like someone like
Tom Segura.
He's a writer first, and he plants his feet on the stage. And he's also are you a big fan of his?
Oh, I love him, man.
He's doing a whole thing in Spanish right now as well.
Yeah, he is.
He's got 2 Netflix specials coming out this year, and one of them is going to be completely in Spanish.
I did hear about that. I can't wait to watch it.
He's doing a second podcast in addition to his other one that's just called Tom in Spanish.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. That's
I think
great.
something like that.
I love the one with him and Christina P.
That's his wife.
Yeah.
It's my mom's house. Shouting out other podcasts on my podcast. That's the way that. That's the way it should be.
Well, wait,
No,
they shouted out your podcast on there?
No. I'm just shouting out theirs. He doesn't even know I exist.
Yet.
But very, very funny guy. Mm-hmm. Feel free to re-up with the wobbly.
I'll wait for you, but no rush. Okay.
You don't have to. It's St. Patty's, and it's not like we can go to the bar. You didn't wear.
I wasn't even planning.
You didn't even know I had green on.
I forgot it was today.
And you were like, "When is St. Patrick's?" I was like, "It's today, dude." And you're like, "Oh, well." It doesn't feel that way. Like I remember thinking, like I used to just like you would look forward to St. Patrick's Day because you knew when you got off work you were just gonna go drink until your brain
and
didn't
get
exist.
hammered. Yeah.
And I didn't. I'm older and don't have that thought process anymore. But it's still like to go out and fight those crowds. If none of this virus stuff was going on, still it's like feels a little bit nightmarish to me. At least you get to do it from the other side of the bar, and people aren't touching you.
Yeah, I work at a Japanese restaurant though, so it's not really.
That's not everybody's go-to on St. Patty's.
It's not.
I think if you were already down there and you looked at that, there was like a something O'Malley's or the O'Hooligans or O'Flanagans or something, whatever the Irish bars are in that area, and you were like, oh, these are all slammed, but that Japanese restaurant's only got like 8 people in it. Let's just go drink there because alcohol is alcohol. That would be how I would approach it.
That is a smart move.
I would have been one of your customers had you been open today. It's like, you know where no one's going to drink right now? Japanese restaurants. But luckily, in lieu of crates and crates of toilet paper, the Rite Aid by my house had crates and crates of Jameson.
Nice.
So I was like, well, I need to, and I can wipe my ass with the bottle in a couple days.
Peel off that label. You got
I had to take the label off and wipe with that. Yeah. What was your first job ever?
My first job ever. Okay, there's my first like job ever, and then there's my first like real job. So my first job ever, I got hired through the children's theater I performed at. Was touring for this production group.
Okay.
That would do Disney shows like Pocahontas and Aladdin and Cinderella, and they would do it live on stage at like at Disney conventions and baby fairs across the U.S.
Okay.
For kids and all that.
That's a good first job.
It was, man. I was a senior in high school and I was touring.
It pay well for a high school job?
It did for me. It paid.
If you're making any money in high school, your first job, no matter what, you're like, wait, this is money and it's mine. I don't have to like share it with my parents or ask for
no,
them.
yeah.
If you feel rich.
Oh no, I felt so cool because like I would, once a month I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna fly to Detroit this weekend and do Disney shows over there, and like, what? That's so cool. Wow, you're doing it. Yeah. But it paid. I got a $200 per diem, and then it paid an extra $100.
Robby Valls, international man of Disney, traveling around dancing.
Yeah, well, it got weird with that company. I did that. I stopped doing that when I had just turned 20, because I dated one of the princesses.
Of course, it's like the lead football player, the quarterback, and the head cheerleader dating in high school. If you're dancing and you're the prince, you got to date Ariel,
exactly,
or whoever.
I first dated Aurora, Sleeping Beauty.
Yep.
And then we didn't work out, but it was all cool. We made the peace, and everything was good. We still toured together, and then I started dating Snow White.
Yeah, better.
That's
an upgrade.
I know
for me.
That's the OG. Yeah. But then my production manager had a problem with that.
Just making your way through. He thought you had like a fuck it list of all the Disney princesses, and you were just going through checking them off. Yeah, she was the type of lady that liked to get involved in like people's affairs and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then so she started changing our characters around. And so that you couldn't do that?
So that, no, it sounds stupid now looking back, but like...
It probably had nothing to do with you.
I don't know.
Maybe?
It felt like it did, I got really upset.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on right now about it. and this virus and everything. So
There's just a lot to think about.
So they changed everybody. They just started just being like, "Hey, tonight's show, you're Aladdin."
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, tonight's show, you're going to be this princess. And we've always been the same characters as long as because once you're a character, it's like you're that character until you retire.
Yeah.
You know?
So that freaked people out, and it was because you were banging your way through the princesses?
Yeah, in so many words. Not so much.
Sleeping your way through the beauties?
Yeah, I just honestly, lesson learned. I was young, and drama happened, and I didn't renew my contract when it came time to do it again.
That's like renewing your contract is such a word that most high schoolers don't have to like. I don't know if I've ever even had a contract to renew, and I'm in my 30s. So you probably sound like such an adult to your friends then. So you performed for a little bit. And you did that all the way until how?
I was like just turned 20.
Okay, and then
they were like, "You want to do it again for the next year?" And I go, "No."
No, I'm moving to LA. Well, how long after that until you moved out here?
I moved out here when I was 22.
Okay. And what was your first job when you got out west?
So it's a little complicated. Like, so
tell us all about it.
Let me tell you all about it. So when I was involved, I was like, when I was in Miami, when I wasn't doing the Disney thing, because I was only like once a weekend, like 1 weekend a month for like 8 months out of the year. Mm-hmm. So it like when I got out of high school and in college, I needed more money. I started working at Express retail
for
store.
Men, or did they have both?
The one I worked at was both.
Okay. This is how long after the store Structure? Remember Structure? Structure was Express before it was Express for Men.
No, I don't.
So Express just used to be a girls only store.
Yeah, I remember that.
Our mall had an Express, and then right next to it, it had a Structure, and that was it was guys' clothes that looked very similar to what Express for Men would go on to sell in the future. And you found out that they just bought that company, and now they had an Express and Express for Men.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is all I wore in like high school and college.
Oh no, same.
Yeah,
same, man. That was like
1MX button-up shirts.
1MX, dude. I still think I have one or two in my closet.
I might have. I might have gotten rid of them. But
or those graphic tees.
I know I do have some shirts from there, but I don't know if I have any more 1MXs. I think they started. No, I think they still have them. I was in there not that long ago. Anyways, so you worked.
I did that. I did that for about a year and a half or 2 years. I can't remember. Then I worked at a Sony retail store for a little bit.
Okay.
And then during the time working at Sony retail, so my first bartending gig was through stand-up. I was doing stand-up at this one spot, and I became really cool with the owner of that place. And then one summer, when I was 19, they were like, "Hey, we're short on bartenders right now. I love your personality. Would you be interested in bartending?" I'm like, "I've never bartended." And she's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll train you."
Man, I feel like people probably have the opposite version of that story. They're like bartending at a comedy club, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got somebody's late. Can you go up on stage and kill 5 minutes?" Yeah. And then that person became Louis C.K. or something.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it's like
that's Eleanor Kerrigan's story. Do you know Eleanor Kerrigan?
She's the head waiter at she's the waiter at the Comedy Store.
That's right.
Started doing stand up.
Well,
I mean, a lot of those people work there anyways.
Or had worked
there. And so they're like, they'll be like outside parking cars, and then they'll get a little thing on the radio, and they go jump on stage and do 5 minutes, and then come back, and then they go back to taking out the trash. Yeah. It's like, but you're just there, like, or you're seating people, or you're the bartender, or whatever. They all are also comedians.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, I get in there and get like really emotional like every single time I'm there. I don't know why. It's something about the way that it feels.
It feels like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Hollywood Improv is great. Laugh Factory is great. And they're both iconic, phenomenal comedy clubs. But the Comedy Store, for me, I don't know. Maybe it's just the one that I became closer to. Yeah. It's got a special feeling. I love it.
You performed there a bunch? Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. It's like I have a friend who swears it's haunted and the basement's haunted. And
probably,
it could be, but
I mean, the amount of history in that location.
The same location too.
Yeah, I mean, have you read? There's this book called "Standing Up" or something. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. I'm so sorry.
I haven't read any books about the Comedy Store.
Oh my god, dude! This one talks about, and it's not just the Comedy Store. It just talks about the history of stand-up in Los Angeles. I have it right here. Let me just look it up real quick.
Do you own the book?
I don't own the book, but I own the audiobook. I'm a big audiobook guy.
Well, now I don't know. You have plenty of time to read and listen to all the shit that you need to. We got two weeks potentially to be quarantined.
Yeah, it's called I'm Dying Up Here.
Oh, they turned that into a TV show.
Did they really?
Yeah. You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen that. No.
Oh my God. It's on Showtime. They only did 2 seasons of it, but it's amazing.
But
I've watched it and then I rewatched it. It's not, they don't come out and say the Comedy Store. It's but it is the Comedy Store.
The history
and instead of Mitzi Shore, what's her face? Plays
Oh, so it's
Academy
like
Award winning actress. I can't think of her name.
It's scripted. It's
scripted.
not like a docu-series.
No, but it's produced by like Jim Carrey, who like has a huge history at the store,
Right.
And a ton of other comics. Andrew Santino's in it. He's like one of the main. And Eric Griffin is in it.
Oh.
Bunch of people. It's an awesome show about a bunch of people, a bunch of comics from like moved out from Boston to do it. But that whole scene in like the 70s. Binge that if you haven't seen that.
I'm definitely gonna add that.
It's on Showtime. It's 2 seasons and they're both great. I've watched it all the way through twice.
Okay.
Might even go around 3. Melissa Leo is who plays Mitzi Shore.
Oh, okay.
Her name is not Mitzi Shore on the show, but we all know who they're talking about.
Yeah, I really wish I got to, because I've met Mitzi Shore, but not like officially and all that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, because she died before I really started to perform there.
Yeah.
But I was able to like when I first started performing there, I got to like see her and just knowing because
you used to have to be you would have to be passed by her to ever
right
to perform there.
Right.
The rules were a lot more strict.
Yeah.
And I'm not the authority figure on the comedy. You've performed there way more than I have, so you probably know better than I do. But the place,
I got really lucky with that place.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I owe Dennis and Darren this luck because I did one of their shows, and a comedian they had on their show was an independent producer at the Comedy Store. Mm-hmm. And then so I started doing bringer spots for her for like almost 2 years. And she's, God bless her, I love her to death. She has she does a lot for the comedy community, but among like starting off comics, she doesn't have the best reputation because she's a little hard on like, are you bringing 10 people? If you're not bringing 10 people, I'm not going to give you your time.
Yeah, that's hard too, especially like if you have 2 bringer shows a week and you only have like 20 friends and some of them have kids and are jobs and are married or whatever.
Yeah, you got to convince 10 friends to spend $20 on a ticket
and
then
spend two drink minimum.
Yeah. On a Saturday night to come watch you do 6 minutes of stand-up if you get all 10 out.
My very first bringer show that I ever did, I brought 29 people. Like people that like knew I had been doing comedy for like a year. No one had ever seen me. And so I was like, this is the show. I'm really proud of this 5-10 minutes that I'm doing or whatever. Come to this one. Like 29 people came out. They all bought a $15 ticket. They all got their 2 drink minimum. A lot of people had food there. Like I did the math, and that I made that club like $3,000 that night, and I got paid $0.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I don't like bringer shows for that reason, but it's hard to enforce and hard to make sure that people are always like. I still get hit up to do them, and I always say no because like I'm not doing 5 bringing
same.
10 friends. I'm not doing that to my friends.
Same.
They've seen me perform gobs of times now, and it's just like not worth it to them.
Same.
Anymore.
And then when you start producing your own shows, you're like, I'm definitely not doing bringer shows because anybody that I have the power to bring out, I'm gonna bring them to my show that I'm producing.
Right. Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. It's slippery.
Yeah.
I get why it's good starting off and it's a good business model for the venue. It's like you got this kid who's maybe he sucks, maybe he doesn't, but he's going to try stand up and he's going to watch 20 of his friends want to watch him eat shit.
Yeah.
And so, they're at least going to make $500 off that guy that night.
Well, so for me, like with her, because she was very hard on me and she's hard on a lot of comics when they first start off, but I took it as like just paying your dues, It's like that whole pledge mentality. Like I know I'm new in this community. I'm new in this industry. Like I'm gonna take your verbal abuse in order to do the thing I love to do.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I straight up, she kept asking me to do bringer spots, and I told her like, hey, look, I can't do bringer spots anymore, but if you ever need help running a show, I would love to help you running a show. And then one day out of the blue, she hit me up to help her run a show, and I got time on stage without having to bring anybody out. And I just helped her like collect tickets and run sound.
God, isn't that the dream? Just
oh man,
just free time on stage without having to do anything else, just because.
And at the comedy store,
because you're funny and for no other reason.
It felt so good, man.
Being like a paid regular there seems like such a so far in the distance goal of mine in a lot of comics is just like the amount of like paying your dues that you have to go through.
You literally have to hang out there like every week, several times
every
a
night.
week,
And it feels like
and be good and then
you like for a chance to just get on stage and do 3 minutes. And a lot of people don't have the patience for that. A lot of people have other things going on, the jobs, kids, whatever. And so like, they're, there are people who can circumvent that, but what I've learned is that they're not very well respected in the Comedy Store community. Like people who go get famous first and then try to be like, or they'll go get a TV show and they'll be like, hey, I'm on this show on NBC. Can I get on stage? And they're like, go fuck yourself. We don't care how famous, what your celebrity is, doesn't mean anything. We're like, this is a comedians club and you are a sitcom actor. I've seen some resentment in that area in keeping people on stage. I don't want to say names, but I'll tell you offline. But
I know some people too that we can talk about. But honestly, like they're still getting time on good shows. Those actors
at different clubs.
Yeah,
at different clubs.
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, you mean like independently produced shows at the Comedy Store that aren't put on by the Comedy Store?
You're probably right. But it might be those. Yeah.
I've seen some of those, but I'm talking about like getting your name on the wall and getting like you're there every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before you go on
sending in your avails.
Yeah, that's
the dream.
That's the dream. It's weird but it is. It's so. And that's why it's like maybe that's why I have such an emotional thing every time I go to that place. It's like I know. It's like what I want, and I know how far away from it is that I'll ever be able to like get a little sliver of the Comedy Store experience.
Aaron, you never know, man.
You never know.
It might be sooner than you think.
Well, I don't know. You look at some of the biggest people out right now are like in their like Joe Rogan, Bill Burr,
Tom
Segura. They're like all in their 50s, or he's not.
Yeah,
in his 50s
40s and 50s. Yeah,
40s and 50s, and they got kids, and they're still like Mark Maron's 54. He just had a Netflix special come out 2 days ago. Bert Kreischer is in his late 40s. He had one that come out today.
He's got a new one today.
Yeah,
on Netflix.
Just dropped today.
I know Tom Segura's got one on the 24th.
Shout outs, Bert Kreischer and Tom. They're best buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so gonna definitely plenty of time to watch those. D'Elia has one coming out on the 24th. A bunch of them dropping right now.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson just had one come out. And a nonstop. And even like hearing things like that, I was like, oh, you might get a Netflix special in 5 years.
Oh, dude. Well, do you know about Rami?
Yeah,
man. I remember when I first started doing stand up in LA. I remember running into him at open mics and all that.
I saw him perform at the Cellar in New York.
Yeah, and then it seemed like for him, his career just took off like overnight. Like he got that show.
I didn't know who he was, and then I saw him go up that night. And then when I got back to LA like a couple weeks later, he had the show come out. And then after his show came out, he won. What did he win, a Golden Globe?
I think he won a Golden Globe.
He won a Golden Globe, and then he had a kind of around the same time his HBO special came out. Killing it, man. Yeah, and well deserved. But that's rare. I mean, he's also had put in over a decade of work before you saw that. A lot of people think that like those overnight successes are actual overnight successes. No. There's like 10 to 20 years of like hard work that you didn't see that led up to that. But like just because you didn't know me yesterday and you know me now, that's not the definition of an overnight success. I think the only person, and I could be wrong, I'll definitely have to fact check this, but the Hemsworths, they didn't have to put in a lot of work, I don't think. I think if you look like that, if you look like Thor already, you just get cast as Thor.
Yeah.
Like that dude showed up and they were like, "Who else are you gonna pick?" And they were like, "You're right. It's you. Why would I even waste my time?"
I heard. I don't know if it's true, but I heard he was sleeping on his manager's couch in the garage, like during the time that he auditioned for that movie and got booked for that movie. And then
was that his first like thing ever?
I don't know if that was his first.
No,
thing.
He was in Star Trek. He played Captain Kirk's like dad in that movie or something.
What?
Like the first scene of that.
The first one with Chris Pine?
Chris Pine. He was Chris Pine's dad.
No, I remember Thor. Chris Hemsworth was Chris Pine's dad.
Yes, and it's an opening scene like right before it happens.
Oh.
He's in it for just a sliver, but that came out before Thor.
Okay, but what did he do before that? Because even getting on a movie like that,
slept on a couch. God. I mean, look, no one looks like him, so it makes sense. But even what's the guy's name who played Spock? Zachary Quinto. He looks exactly like Spock. That was a perfect casting for him. And,
but he was in
a ton of
Heroes.
stuff.
He was in Heroes before.
And I don't know if it was before or after, but he was on American Horror Story. That guy's a great actor. I'm not saying that Hemsworth isn't, but a lot of it comes with what he looks like, and that's okay, I guess. Is there anybody else like that just like it's there's a word,
Jason Momoa? I'd say was another one that his look is just
like, well, if you look at the comic book of Aquaman, they went kind of the opposite on casting for that one. But probably for good reason, because cartoon character Aquaman looks really stupid.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we need to change his whole perception. But once they went kind of like Hawaiian-y Islander looking guy for that, like he's perfect.
And that makes more sense for that character. Yeah.
He doesn't look like anybody else. I saw him at the airport when I was going home for Christmas, and I tapped my wife on the shoulder. I was like, there's Aquaman. And she was like, where? I'm like, what do you mean where? No one else looks like him. He's the only one who looks like, well, he's also like 70 feet tall. He's huge.
70.
He's got that one little thing of like Aquaman-y looking tattoo like right here on his forearm. It's like he looks exactly like you think he's gonna look like. There are some celebrities that when you see him out in the wild, that you're like, are you just kind of a girl who kind of looks like Emma Stone, or are you Emma Stone? It could be a little confusing, but this guy, unmistakably Aquaman, no matter where you are in the world. Well, whatever, awesome. But so what's next? After hopefully the virus blows over, and then you can go back to work, or you gonna?
Yeah, I just want things to get back to normal. To be honest, it's scary.
Yeah. We'll see. It could be
because I think Donald Trump said something about like expect it to last 6 months. And if anybody who I talk to that's in medicine, they say, yeah, this is not going to blow over in a month.
There is a thing, I don't know what it's called, maybe like a global relief fund where everybody gets some money for a little bit to just help out. I don't know the facts or when that's going to roll out, or I don't know much about it. I'll send you the link afterwards. I skimmed because I knew you were coming over. I took a shower for this today.
Thank you.
It's my first shower in like
I did too.
For 8 days. I was like, oh, we're quarantined? No showering.
Yeah, I didn't shower yesterday at all.
I didn't either. But
it was day one for me, so I was just like, I'm just going to stay at home.
Yeah.
Get high and play video games. And
God, isn't that the dream until you can't pay your rent and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
No, yeah, I feel shitty.
But right now it's encouraged. No, you won't. Everybody needed that day.
Yeah.
That buffer of like, let me be like a lazy pile of shit.
Yeah.
Once, and then but the hope is, I mean, like my gym closed, so I usually go to the gym every single day. So now I'm like starting tomorrow. I was like, I got Robby coming over today, but starting tomorrow I'm gonna do some home workouts. I got some weights. I got this like iron gym thing that I can hang from the door and do pull-ups from. I also got this other little like bench. I'm gonna bring all that out of the closet that's been there for 5 years, bring that out and start working out from home. Like just not try really hard to not be like lazy. And so hopefully that works out. Robby, tell the people at home what you got going on, where they can follow. I mean, I know comedy shows are closed up, so probably all your shows have been canceled. Yeah. But where they can find you online and any videos or anything that you want to promote, this is you. Yeah,
thank you. I'm most active on Instagram, so you can follow me at Robby Valls. That's ROBBY, V as in Victor, ALLS. On Instagram, that's where I post the most amount of stuff. And you can find my most recent set on YouTube. If you just look up Robby Valls, you'll find my stuff. And I'm also producing a lot of sketches and videos with Part-Time Friends Productions.
Okay.
With Darren Capozzi and Dennis Hempel.
Shout out Darren and Dennis.
So I'm always producing content with them, and you can see a lot of that stuff. And
I'll have a link to all of it in the description of this video and in the audio as well.
Sweet.
Hopefully this virus blows over and we can all go back to work. But if not, let's hang out like the whole time. Robby, thanks for joining me.
Oh, dude, thank you, man. A pleasure.
Oh, shit. We're not supposed to be
I know,
shaking
right?
hands. Sorry, let's do that again.
We're going to wash hands after.
I got some hand sanitizer.